Welcome to the Legend Show. This is the People's Show, and I have this beautiful couple with me, and I'm going to start with the Queen. Introduce yourself, please.
Dr. Kiana Shamsuddin.
And
I'm Ambassador Waleed Shamsuddin.
okay, let me tell you guys. These people that you see here, they are called the Queen and the King. Doctor, Ambassador, citizen of the whole world. Can you beat that? This is this man that is sitting right here with us. He is an ambassador and citizen for many countries. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. First of all, thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be here today.
You're welcome.
I was recently appointed Special Envoy and Ambassador for His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone. I traced my lineage back to the continent on my maternal side and became a dual citizen of the United States of America.
Please give a round of applause for this. I love that.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
I want to ask this question. I know you and your family love Africa. And you, starting from the Queen, tell us why you love them.
Because it's who we are. That's
Because,
the biggest
repeat
answer.
that again.
Because it's who we are.
Oh,
And so for me, I have a background from the Caribbean. My family's originally from Jamaica. And one of the things that is missing is where we originate from. So automatically, you think about repping your country. And of course, believe you me, I love Jamaica. Don't get it twisted. But I also know that that's not where we started. I know that Africa is where we started. I'm fully aware of that. And one of the things that's missing in our community is that we focus on kind of the chapters in the book, but not the beginning of where we started. And it's all has to work together. So for me, I know that connection comes back to tracing us back to who we are, our identity, what we represent, and where we have become is a part of the story, but it's not our beginning.
Have you been able to do any beginning?
I have to, yes.
So when?
So I trace back to Nigeria.
That's my sister.
I trace back to Nigeria on my maternal side, and I have two tribes. It was Fulani and Yoruba.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, Nigerian.
Yes. And then on my paternal side, it traced back to Gabon.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you beat that?
Yeah.
And going back to you, King, why do you love Africa?
Well, first of all, I've traveled to probably 40 countries around the world.
Wow. 40
Yes.
countries? And I'm here bragging that I've been on 12 countries. Are you serious? Like I was speaking and I was doing something. Oh, wow.
I'm just trying to catch up.
Did you see that?
I'm just trying to catch up.
But my most memorable experiences is landing on the continent, specifically Nigeria.
Wow.
And during customs, the first words out of their mouth was "Welcome home, my brother."
Oh, that's one thing that you all don't know.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh my goodness.
He
That
said,
touched
"Put your
me.
American passport up. You're home."
Oh my goodness.
And my eyes watered just a little bit to be received and to feel finally part of the majority and not part of the minority. So Nigeria was a special place. And since I've been to South Africa and Botswana and Tanzania and Ethiopia,
Kenya.
and most recently Senegal and Sierra Leone.
Wow.
And the more I go, the more I realize how beautiful the continent is, how disconnected we've been from our people, from our culture, from our spirituality, from opportunities. And now it's about coming home, knowing that we were torn away as slaves, but reconnecting now as an ambassador, as a family, and as a community.
I want to ask again, what do you think we can all do? I mean, we, the African Americans and the Africans, what can we do to bridge the gap between us? What's your advice on that?
Well, that's a loaded question because there are so many things that we can do. But I think the first thing that will be the most impactful is to talk to each other. But to talk to each other, to listen.
Right.
Because there
Talk is
are,
cheap.
yeah,
Easy.
yeah, and
Talk and listen.
I firmly believe that we all have misconceptions about one another, and unfortunately, there are narratives that have been created
That's a fact.
that the person who the narrative is about is not a part of, which is kind of the disservice to that individual
Thank you.
and or us as a community. So I think the first thing is to really just sit down and hear each other's stories,
Exactly.
not based off of what you've been told, not based off of what you've seen or researched or read, but based off of what we say. So we're controlling the narratives, that we're telling that story, and vice versa. And from there, we can really start to build and bring up this relationship, and all the other things can flow from there. You know, that business together, trade together, knowledge transfer together. But we have to get past whatever misconceptions we have about one another first.
Exactly. So, King, can you contribute?
Absolutely. I think there's a level of trust that needs to be built between. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had the privilege of traveling with others from the continent, of being hosted in the village. My wife and I, we went to the villages in Sierra Leone, and we received our African names, African garbs, and we were able to engage and dine and eat and experience what that culture is like, the tribal culture on the continent. And we want to reciprocate that now and have people from Africa come to America and sit and have dinner with us and experience our culture and begin to build trust amongst the tribes and the community so that we can do other things together like business and trade and commerce. And I think it's important.
I love that point that he said. It's time to reciprocate the experience you had there, and now you head back here in America, and now you're meeting me, baby.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you're like, hey, I went to your place and you all received me like welcome home.
That's right.
So how do that make me feel that I am received that way? It makes me feel that I'm back to my brother.
Yes.
It makes me feel connected.
Yeah.
Like looking at you right now, you look like my brother. Look at his dressing. You know?
I know. I missed the memo.
I have to address him like introduce him before people will know that this is an American.
Yeah.
I really love that, and I want to ask this question again to bring these points together. Starting with, how long have you been married?
Yeah.
So we've been married 7 years.
About 10, 12, maybe 15 years.
What's going on here?
7 years.
What's going on here? Okay, tell me.
Yes.
Why did this put you? She said 7 and you said 12, 13.
Well,
So
I
what's
like to
going on?
count from when we first met. You know, our relationship is so beautiful.
Oh my
And
goodness,
she
that's
brings
so good.
She brings me peace.
Oh, Lord.
And when you have peace at home, you're
Give
able
me that high
to.
five.
So I don't like, from the time we met, I count that all the way to the day.
Oh my goodness, seriously?
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
So do you see, no time is going to waste.
That's
All
right.
of the time
That's
will
right.
be around together. Oh my goodness, that's so interesting. Let's move on. I'm enjoying this show. How about you?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
What would be your advice to our Black community in regards to building a strong relationship in marriage? King first.
That's an amazing question. For us, it's having excellent communication skills and not keeping secrets.
Right.
And,
Most importantly,
yes.
the key.
And being able to protect each other's weaknesses.
Right.
My wife knows it's difficult for me to say no. She knows I lack boundaries with my time because people always want time, and she protects that as a buffer. And I know she loves lobster, and
Why my thing had to be food?
and I know how to protect her from that as well. So we protect each other's weaknesses and we grow together.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
He's out of control.
He's being factual.
I do like lobster and crab legs.
And crab legs. Yeah.
Okay, so you the pin. So what's your advice on this?
I think he nailed it with the communication. I know people say communication all the time, and it's so cliche, right? But it's necessary because I have seen communication is actually connected with having emotional intelligence. What a lot of our people don't realize, we lack that emotional intelligence, and it's really being able to be in tuned and self-aware with who you are and how you feel, and being able to articulate that in a way that makes for a healthy dialogue or healthy interaction.
Right.
And so a lot of us miss that, and that's due to a lot of things, traumas or whatever that don't teach us that. So communication is important, and it's important to be able to know how to have healthy communication.
Absolutely.
Not just any kind of communication, but healthy
Not
communication.
just any kind of communication.
Yes. Healthy communication that is beneficial and impactful. And one of the things that I admire about our relationship that I think really works is that even before being married, even down to the first week that we talked about everything, down to what do you think about parenting?
Wow.
How do you think about raising kids? Where are you financially? Everything was talked about in the beginning, so that we knew the things that actually can make or break a marriage.
Yeah.
It's not what your favorite color is.
Right.
It's not what your favorite food is. It'll be great, but it doesn't make or break a marriage. Yes.
Yeah.
None of that. Yeah. That's all wonderful, but none of that makes for a yes. Yes, absolutely. So we've talked about all those things so that when we were in marriage, it wasn't a surprise that, hey, this is how we said we wanted our marriage to look like. This is what we wanted our partnership to look like. So it was about
religion,
all of those things were
finances,
discussed.
business,
all
family.
of that.
You okay, let me ask you this question. In the next, how do you want, and what is your future wish and hope in the next 20 years from now? How do you want your marriage?
As a couple, 20 years. Wow. I want us to be free. I think the marriage is in a space now where you're building, which is most people, like that phase of building what you want for your family and your community. But for 20 years, I want us to now just be in the space to have the freedom to enjoy what we built.
Oh my goodness.
And enjoy that together. All of that. All of that. Remembering who we are and just really enjoying and embracing being together however we want to be, without the stress of life at the end of the day.
So you, what's your goal?
I would like to see our legacy and our future secure, where I know that our grandbabies can look back and say, hey, Dr. Key and Ambassador hooked us up, right? We have homes throughout the world, businesses that are multinational and successful, and we've created a legacy and a contribution to humanity, something that we're excited about and our community is excited about.
Marriage is like savings. It's like right now you buy insurance, you save, you savings, you wait for retirement.
Yes.
And then so that you can free financial freedom, so you can enjoy better and not stressing and all that. It's the same thing with marriage. Marriage is like savings, and you enjoy as much as you save. And when do you save? It's now that we're young. Get someone that you can bond together and plan your future with.
That's right.
Does that exclude the fact that we can have this? So what are you asking?
But for us, I think we've committed to having balance. You hear the terms work hard and play hard, but I think it's bigger than that. It's about how you engage with your children, how you engage with family and in-laws.
Those are the savings.
Oh my gosh, what you're doing in
what
the
you
community.
save in those points
Yes.
is what you reap at those times. You say, this is my future goal.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So as long as we're living a life with boundaries and balance, then we're able to grow today and enjoy what we're doing today, as well as prepare what we're doing for tomorrow.
Absolutely. So let's progress. What would be your advice to our Black community in regards to building a strong community with love and unity.
For me, and Keith, feel free to jump in. I think it's important to get back to the basics of family life. You know, however you define that. When we grew up in a neighborhood, our neighbors would watch the children. You know, when you had to be home, you had to be home at a certain time. It was a community that raised a child. In Africa, the saying is it's a village,
yes,
right? And I think a lot of times we've gotten away from that. You don't know who your neighbors are. You're not attending the school. You're not going to the PTA meetings. You're not participating in the sports with your children. It's like, how can we drop them off and keep building? Everybody's so busy, they don't have time for family and community life. And I think for us as African Americans, we have to get back to who is our community, how we support, love, thrive, and appreciate community life to prepare better for the next generation.
Right. The queen as a woman.
Seeing each other with a lens of humanity. I think we are so, and as he was saying, you know, the whole sense of community and village has just, it seems like it's kind of disappearing a little bit. And even amongst women, I have actually recently just been talking about needing to have that fellowship and community and just being around other women, which COVID actually has kind of, you know, kept us isolated, that some of us don't even know how to socialize anymore. We don't know what to do. And so, but it's so necessary. It's healing. It's you need a sense of outlets in that community and people you can trust and talk to and be yourself with without worrying about, you know, cattiness or don't trust you or what do you want, you know. I just need people. And so just getting back to this space of, as he said, I agree with everything he said, getting back to community, getting back to trusting one another, building these villages amongst one another and expanding that village, because that's actually where our ancestors came from. And that's actually where our ancestors had their strength the most in numbers. And so the more and more we get further away, the lesser our power. And we don't realize that we're actually diminishing who we are as a collective.
Now we just get to the point where it has to be your moment now. So we know you're business entrepreneurs, and we want to know what you got going on generally. What are you? But tell us your business, what you do.
Well, my wife just recently got her doctorate. We're really excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's running the family foundation now. You want to talk a little bit about what you're doing with the foundation?
Yes, so I'm the executive director of Supreme Family Foundation. Our core program has been food insecurity. And what we do is we deliver approximately maybe 15,000 meals per week to senior citizens and to our youth who are at risk for food insecurity, primarily in the metro Atlanta area. We are trying to expand that to actually global, because as you know, we love Africa. And especially with this new appointment in Sierra Leone, I don't want it to just be, you know, a local thing. I want us to be able to have global impact. And so we're trying to figure out how to navigate addressing food insecurity in different areas on the continent. We also are looking for cultural exposure, because that's something we're passionate about. And so he's probably going to talk to it, but he does have a up and coming conference that's going to be taking place in Senegal and Sierra Leone that's centered around business. But one of the aspects from the foundation piece is being able to sponsor a youth to actually go. And that's a youth who's never had that exposure, maybe not even have a passport, never traveled to the continent. So you're building up the Black Americans who've never even stepped foot on the continent and completely just giving opportunities to do that. So that will be also done through the foundation. And then we're also trying to figure out how to address the racial wealth gap that currently exists with Blacks and entrepreneurship and in business. So we have a lot of things going on. But
you got a lot of things.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, the king. So in regards to your ambassadorship, what have you been doing?
Well, really, we've been promoting and building bridges, right, between Africans in the diaspora and those on the continent. We've been hosting multiple delegations back and forth between West Africa and the U.S. We have a big conference that we're planning in December. We want to bring 100 Black business owners to West Africa to promote foreign direct investment, trade, and commerce. We've been bridging the gap on academia. We're working on a partnership now between Florida A&M University and Eastern Technical University for knowledge transfer, innovation, job creation around the space of agriculture, so that we can, on the continent, begin to build and explore and mine our own resources and use it for the betterment of those, within that particular country. So I'm really excited about the appointment, not only for the name or the ambassadorship or special envoy, but because of what it represents, what we can do now with those credentials in support of those of us on the continent. In the franchise space, my wife and I own restaurants. We've been licensing and franchising in South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Playa del Carmen, Mexico. We have 15 locations around the city now. We also have some real estate holdings in Georgia and in Mexico. And we just bought a place, office, we're labeling the African Diaspora Center.
Whoa,
right.
For real?
Yeah, we got that in Sierra Leone.
In Sierra Leone?
Yeah, so as African Americans come to the continent of West Africa, we'd have a place for them to network and look at business opportunities and cultural exchange. So we're building, we're sacrificing, we're growing. We're looking for people with like minds and who would like to share this passion and this experience and this mission with us.
Right.
You all have some amazing examples, especially in Nigeria, what Dangote is doing, what Tony Alumelu is doing around youth entrepreneurship, around business, and their passion for building and revitalizing the continent with Africans at the forefront, not looking for the Chinese or the Russians or the Arabs to come in and solve the problems. They're doing it through business right there on the continent. And we want to support and be a part of that movement.
Honestly, I'm personally delighted and proud of you and having people like you from the Americas part of us and see the way you can be united together. I think we better off.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I think unity more accomplished.
Yes.
And more strong.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
I would say thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate you for coming and appreciate you for bringing the king. It's not easy to bring our king from their throne.
I tell you.
Thank you, and I'm so pleased.
Oh, thank you.
We're happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
As well.
Yeah.